pink outlines. And the head official checks the watch. There goes the whistle, and we are underway. A quick boot all the way down to Ellie Breach. Ellie Breach, Trevor, first career start coming against Florida State last season, and a Sweet 16 nonetheless. Now coming back against the Seminoles tonight.
Yeah, this is where Pitt's season ended last year, so, you know, a lot of these players have come back. They have a lot of that still fresh in their memory. They want to rectify that result and come away with a road win against the #1 team in the country.
Now here's a great opportunity right away for the Panthers. It's Landy Mertz drawing the foul. So right away, Trevor, we'll take a look quick at Brian Pensky, his second season at Florida State. He's done a phenomenal job this season, and obviously the Seminoles with that top ranking in the land.
Well, they've done a beautiful job of blending in the former way they used to play under Mark Krikorian, much more build-up from the back. And now with Brian Penske's approach, more direct, they've really molded and meshed it together into something that's so difficult to defend because they can pick and choose how they want to attack their opponents.
Now the service in the box. Trying to clear. Fury goes down. Echegini goes down. A stoppage of play. Quick check on Samaya Fury. One of those 5 we mentioned in the open, Trevor. 8 goals for her on the season.
Yeah, very stout in the back, or actually I should say up top in the 9 position, and just gets trampled a little bit over by Oni Echegini from the back. That was a hard cross into the box. Looked like, I want to say it was Oni Echegini who got the first header on it. So an early opportunity for Pitt, and you know, they're going to need as much opportunities on the ball as they can get. This is really the big test of Pitt's season for sure. When you really look at their schedule, they really only had probably one poor result, you'd say, probably against Louisville, 3-2, the drop. Lost to Xavier earlier in the year as well, but honestly, they played so really good quality soccer through and through, but this is obviously the big test. One, because it's the #1 team. You lost to this team in the playoffs last year. It's the building process for Coach Randy Waldron.
Now here's the first chance of the night. The Seminoles, Echegini tries to look inside. Finds Beata Olson, touched outside with the right. Takes a deflection. That's Ellie Caulfield getting back to block the shot.
Good numbers in support for Pitt right there, because you can see how fast Florida State can operate. This is not your former Florida State team that you've accustomed to seeing over their 3 national championship runs, but they're so much more dynamic in a way. You see the speed of Beata Olson working around the defender, around Olivia Lee right there. She's got such power in her legs to generate speed and turn, and finds a shot.
Fortunate Ellie Caulfield in front to block that shot. Now Echegini slips in behind Jordan Dudley. Caulfield again. That ball will be out and a goal kick. So Trevor, we've mentioned all of this talent. Seems both of these teams are loaded up front, even defensively. What's really the key, as you mentioned, for Florida State to come and not let Pitt ruin that home record?
Well, I think, you know, for Florida State, they're going to have to learn how to adjust to Pitt's defensive shape. I think they're going to try and give Florida State a couple different looks tonight. So you just have to stick to what you know best and what that's worked for you this entire season so far. So stay consistent with pressure on the ball or off the ball, and try and get the ball behind this back line. Test them a little bit. There's a little bit of a different look that we've seen Pitt compared to what we've seen in the last couple games. Randy Waldron has said to us he's kind of worked in more of a 3-back line as of late, and allows him to get more prominent players that he wants on the pitch at the same time. So this is a little bit of a different look, maybe defensively minded, but for Florida State, it's about getting beyond and testing that back line quickly.
Yeah, we saw Randy Waldron, a phenomenal job he's done with this program. Trevor, you mentioned their season ending here in Tallahassee last year, but the expectations have raised this year. He says that they're not the finished product yet, but oh boy, these last 3 weeks have these Panthers been clicking.
Yeah, and the last stretch of the season here too, they're really going to find out what they're made of entering the ACC tournament. But it's really a remarkable turnaround for this Pitt program, and I don't think you could have asked for a better coach in Randy Waldrum to turn the program around. He started Tulsa's program. He's won everywhere he's been, won a national championship with Notre Dame, had really good success at Baylor, and he coaches the Nigerian national team. I mean, he has been around the world, and he has solidified himself here on the college soccer level.
Certainly has, as you said, Trevor, 2 national championships at Notre Dame. He's been all around, 9th in the NCAA in wins, and really turn around this Panthers program. So here's a goal kick for the Seminoles. Warren Flynn boots it up the field. Here's a battle. Abiodun, Echegini, 2 Nigerian national team players, a part of the Super Falcons. Now Gilchrist. Ball slips behind Beat Olsen. Olsen chasing after. Here's Shapansky. Good move to get past Leilani Nesbeth.
That's not easy. Leilani Nesbeth is as tough as they come.
Now, a little bit of confusion. Roque able to come out and claim. You see Roque rocking the pink uniform. It's the Painted Pink match here annually in Tallahassee. Each jersey that the Florida State team is wearing will be auctioned off, with all the proceeds going to Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare Walker Breast Center, and it's scattered all throughout the crowd, rocking their pink. Trevor, I think we did an all right job too, throwing a little bit of pink.
Do what we can to get the word out, and obviously a very meaningful, emotional cause for so many people affected by breast cancer. It's definitely something to always keep in mind of, and to never give up on, finding cures and finding ways to help people.
Florida State does a great job bringing awareness and supporting, as the crowd has shown tonight. Now Amanda West, captain of this Panther squad. Flag will go up. Call Sarah Shapansky offsides.
And Jack, on the other side for Pitt, their big thing is to find their midfielders if they're trying to build up from the back. And they did a nice job on a couple sequences here early of keeping the ball low. They don't exactly like to go vertical or go for aerial balls, so they're going to try and keep it on the ground, but it's going to be a way to try and offset FSU's ferocious attack on defense in particular. When Florida State doesn't have the ball, they look like an attacking team because they pressure you nonstop. So try and find to get to the levels. The backs have to play beyond the first line of pressure. So get into your midfields and step by step climb that ladder.
And here is some pressure. Jordan Dudley applying. Ellie Breach has to just get rid of it. Just under 10 minutes through, Trevor. Both teams seem to just be settling in. Taylor Huff. Work back to Nesbeth. Tries to find UI. That's out of bounds.
It's good disruption by Deborah Abiodun. It's a very talented freshman who's inserted herself into this very loaded upperclassmen lineup here for Pitt that they have certainly relied on.
Now an over-the-top ball. Dudley tries to touch it over. Gordon still working. Ashton Gordon in a battle with that freshman, Ellie Breach, able to corral.
And you see Jordan Dudley, she is not afraid to go up against anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a fifth-year senior or not.
Now Mimi Van Zanten charging forward. Jordan Dudley tried to kick it outside. Now Pitt starts their attack. Amanda West, one of the most decorated players in Pitt's program history. Fury back to West. Inside the box, Leilani Nesbeth make working clear. And with more on Leilani Nesbeth, let's send it back down to Meredith.
Thanks, Jack. In conversations with both Coach Penske and Leilani Nesbitt this week, they echoed the same mantra: take what the game gives you. That's what they've gone with all season, and this team, Florida State team, believes that they are at their very best when they're just simply playing soccer, and that's exactly what we want to see from them tonight for a good one.
Thank you, Meredith. That's what they'll try and do. Leilani Nesbitt likes playing against Pitt. 2 goals in the 2 games they played last year. You brought up a good quote, too, Meredith. That was one thing that we really enjoyed in that conversation with Coach Penske. He said that quote was from his old coach at Maryland, Sasho Savarsky. Take what the game gives you. And hopefully Florida State, for Brian Penske, can do that tonight. Now Fury. Shot on the left, blocked by Finn. Back Fury in the box.
Once again,
away.
Flynn once again. Excellent positioning there in the center.
Amanda West will take a shot. Trevor, that's one thing with these Panthers. They're not afraid to shoot. Another player not afraid to shoot is Jordan Dudley. Plays Beata Olsen in behind. Ellie Breach off her line, able to clear.
Brilliant play by Breach. But again, Jordan Dudley just goes out of the blocks as fast as there is here in the game right now. Just a little bit too strong on that pass. It allowed Breach to clear it. And a heads-up play by Breach. Once you get outside of the 18, you can't put your hands on it, so you got to just clear it away. Didn't have the speed to get the paws on it, so the next best thing was just clear and disrupt the flow.
Certainly disrupted. Taylor Huff trying to find Jody Brown. Back to Van Zanten over to Echegini. Gets past Echegini in the box, no one home. Chloe Minas clears away. There's a battle again. Abby Oden, her Nigerian teammate, or excuse me, Jody Brown, the one going down. So a set piece opportunity coming up for Florida State.
It's really defensively speaking here, Jack. Who can keep the game as clean as possible? You can't allow opportunities like this. We saw in the opening minute, Mimi Van Zanten foul just outside the 18. Now Florida State gets one about 40 yards out.
Now Taylor Huff delivers on that back post, just out of reach of Lauren Flynn. Taylor Huff, transfer from Tennessee, top drawer soccer, ranked her 4th player, best player in the midseason rankings. Player Brian Penske is happy to be wearing a Seminoles uniform this season.
A shot out of a cannon at the start of the season with 2 goals in the opening weekend. Always helpful when you can get a former player that you had at a previous spot to come on over. As you're trying to implement a system that you want to establish, good to have players that have been in that system previously.
Seminole crowd looking for a foul. None given. Now it's the Panthers on the break where they're so dangerous. Samaya Ferry working on Flynn, tries to find the cross. Back to Mertz. Ferry again, no foul. Play on, says the referee. Over the top ball, trying to find Jordan Dudley. So a lot of in behind through balls, Trevor, thus far. No luck for either side.
Yeah, you see the differences, though, in how both teams are approaching that, of how they get to those back lines. Florida State going much more vertical over the top. They know they have the runs that they have with Jordan Dudley. Beata Olsen can chase. Jody Brown can sprint up through the midfield, too. Pitt's kind of a little more deliberate. They want to connect passes, little combination play to really see if they can move Florida State off spots and find more spaces up the wings.
And it's looked like that Pitt back line has been physical on that Florida State attack. They're not letting anything easy happen or slip behind them. They're making their presence known. Now out wide, Iran Ewai, ACC Defensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. With Gilchrist. Seminoles patient. Now Huff. Good play between her and Van Zanten. Another ball looking for Dudley. And out comes Ellie Breach.
So you can see this different style, at least for the moment. Florida State was trying to just work, pass the ball back along the back line and then try and spring forward with some more deep balls and long balls.
Huff again. Abby Oden, number 8 for Pittsburgh. She's been all over that midfield in these first 15. So Florida State trying to retain a little more possession, settle into this match. Patient are the Seminoles. Back with Flynn.
That's just a theme in general, Jack, as well. Florida State doesn't have a problem with being patient. Historically, they've been that. And this season, most of their goal totals have come in the second half, although they are getting much more traction in the last several games of getting more goals in the first half. But they just like suffocating teams defensively and offensively, just pinning you back on your heels while they stay front-footed. And eventually it wears down where they can crack the code if it's a 0-0 game deep into the second half.
Yeah, one thing Brian Penske told us in talking to him this week, especially with this Pitt team, is really have not faced an offense like this Panthers squad. So many players up front that are capable of scoring goals. That pass gets away from Olsen.
Rare mistouch right there by Florida State, well past Ron Ewai. I mean, really, you can say outside of maybe North Carolina and Clemson, this is definitely the most dangerous offensive unit in the ACC outside of the Seminoles.
Now West finds Fury with some space. Puts a move past Flynn. Now Fury with the shot. Off target. Calling for a deflection. They'll say goal kick.
Now, Samaya Fury, beautiful little shuffle over to the left. Stays with it, but a good job of closing it up was Leilani Nesbitt. Heather Gilchrist was in the area too. And honestly, you know, I mentioned Clemson and North Carolina. Obviously, they don't have the stats that Pitt does. I mean, Pitt, as we showed, you know, just before the first kick to start the game, they have really good stats. They're in the top 10 from a scoring offensive perspective in the entire country. But obviously, the challenge that Florida State's seen to compare it, they let the first 2 goals against Clemson go by. They had to rally to win that one. And then they had a banger of a match against North Carolina that ended in a 3-3 draw. So those are the most goals that Florida State's allowed in games this year. Pitt certainly has that capability of putting up a number like that against anybody.
Yeah, I mean, last week for Pitt against Syracuse, a 6-0 victory. For Florida State, it was a 4-1 win here at the Seminole Soccer Complex against Notre Dame. Both of these squads, Trevor, have been scoring goals left, right.
Yeah, 38 on the season for Florida State, 45 for Pitt. Very rare you see, you know, 2 top 10 offenses in the same game. Really, you might see that in the postseason, but, you know, within the same conference, if it's going to be anywhere, it's in the ACC.
ACC. It speaks to the conference and the level of play. Now Fury again. Van Zanten able to push it up the field. Out for a Florida State throw.
Now things have kind of settled down a little bit. You saw some early fireworks, both teams getting chances up and down. Now both teams have really started a feeling out process, which is kind of interesting because usually the feeling out process would be in the first few minutes of a soccer match. But right now it looks like both teams, defensively speaking, have, you know, gotten the, you know, dusted themselves off, got the rust off, and have loosened up here as this game goes, and kind of get a good feeling out process over time here, and it looks like they're settling in nicely.
So no shots on target yet. It's Pitt 4 shots to Florida State's 1. That's a big theme for the Panthers as well, Trevor, is the amount of shots they generate that turn to corners, that turn to chances.
Yeah, Brian Penske mentioned to us how much this team is getting in terms of their corner opportunities. And when you have a Sarah Shapansky who is just as elite and as accurate off the corner as there is, or off any set piece, that's going to create some goal-scoring opportunities if you're as accurate and you put the ball in the place where you need it to
be. Seminole fans thinking that's a throw for Florida State instead. Panthers take over. Now Dudley. out for another Pitt's throw-in.
And I'm curious to see Florida State's kind of, hit a little bit of a wall here in the last 5-6 minutes or so here, Jack. I'm curious to see if they can get more direct. They have some open space here, though, with Oni and Chigini.
And Chigini, she's working. Blue draped all over her, asking for help. Just fires it off. Olivia Lee in the first corner for Florida State. It'll be Taylor Huff to deliver.
Big props by Echegini to earn a corner. She definitely was on a 2-on-1 situation. Ron Ewai was trying to fly up the wing to help out, but it was kind of too late. So the best thing Echegini could do was just fire it off the defender, and the ball ricochets past the end line. Dudley got tripped up, so she couldn't come up and support herself to charge and make more of an effort.
Now Taylor Huff delivers on the left foot. Ellie Breach coming out. Caulfield with a clearance. So a reset for Pitt. Both of these sides, Trevor, dangerous from set pieces.
There's no question. I mean, we talked about Szczepanski, and then you have Taylor Huff as Breach collects this one into the breadbasket. I mean, Huff has been excellent in assists herself with 7 on the season, and who could forget the game against North Carolina where she put it right on goal, and then it was Mimi Van Zanten to deliver off the deflection for the goal with 2 seconds left. It's moments like that, you at least put it on net. The more chances you can put it toward the goal, the better opportunities you'll have.
She's been pinpoint in the midfield, playing with confidence and swagger. Has Taylor Huff. Here's Caulfield trying to put Szczepanski in behind. As Beth tracks back. Van Zanten collects from Fury. Now a break for the Seminoles. Echegini over to Olsen. Here's the Swede. Tries to find Dudley just behind her.
Miscommunication. Olsen was thinking Dudley was going to fall back. Didn't really have an angle going forward. And Dudley didn't put the brakes on fast enough. She had to then slam on the accelerator to go get that ball back before it went out.
Yeah, Beata Olsen, a player normally in that central 9 role, has shifted out to the wing, making room for Jordan Dudley in the center, but all praise from Coach Brian Penske and how she's played there.
And really a lot of these Seminole players, in particular, Jack, the through balls have been nothing short of sensational this year with how they've been so direct. And you talk about Ron Ewai in particular in the first game of the season to get a game winner to Taylor Huff. They've done a nice job. Leilani Nesbitt has been brilliant feeding Jordan Dudley on a few particular goals. I mean, they've done a brilliant job when they've had the space and you spread your opponent out of going through the middle and really timing up those passes so nicely so they can continue the run and sprint toward the goal.
Yeah, Florida State has been deadly, setting up their teammates, patient so far in this match. Here's Gilchrist. Ewai to Olsen. Again, Olsen not able to find her teammate. Deborah Abiodun. Ewai to Jody Brown. Dudley working back inside. Finds Taylor Huff. Huff back to Dudley. Dudley across. Echegini with the shot off the bar. A rocket of a shot from Oni Echegini, and the goalkeeper's best friend able to keep it out and keep this game scoreless. Now Fury, her chance. Back to her. So Trevor, just like that, it was a stalemate, a great chance for Florida State and another for Pitt. That'll give them their first corner.
Florida State driving deep toward the end line and trying to cross, and Echegini and Breach might have actually got a hand or a fingertip on it to redirect it just north enough, but then slingshotting the other way is Pitt. Fury with a couple of chances, but Lauren Flynn's been a one-woman wall to deny Pitt a really good shot on goal.
It's a big stop from Lauren Flynn. It'll be Sarah Szczepanski. We mentioned already her 9 assists on the season. Serves this in swinging. Roque out to punch. Headed back in the area. Szczepanski hustling. Another corner for the Panthers.
A strong punch out by Roque. Fury is right in front of her typically, and you still got a couple other Pitt Panthers right along the line there, shifting and moving a little bit to confuse Roque.
Szczepanski to the back post again. Out comes Dudley. Gets ahead to clear a Pitt throw. Szczepanski a part of that Pitt front line. A goal in her last 2 games. Now West. Working on the freshman Van Zandt, and another corner for Pitt.
You can see why Pitt's so good attacking that. Not only are they so skilled, they're relentless in their own right. I mean, they don't give up on the play. This is what they've relied upon, and the turnaround mindset all the way down, starting from Coach Randy Waldrum. They're a team that refuses to give up and go away easy.
And a team that creates chances relentlessly. This one swung in the box. Knocked back out to Szczepanski. She'll swing it back in on the left foot. Just over the head of Chloe Minas in the center, cleared away by the Seminoles.
Heather Gilchrist, the one getting in the way of that cross. And Szczepanski once again, probably a little bit of a more poor effort than she would have was hoping for off the corner, but
another ball sent in. As you said, Trevor, Szczepanski not afraid to whip it in the box and create chances for her teammates.
Well, we saw it in the open how she just loves to go to the corner to shoot or cross, and she knows where to go with the ball. Left or right foot, she's very, very good.
Yeah, dangerous on either side is Sarah Szczepanski. Now a throw in for Pitt. Seminole crowd trying to get fire up their team.
Pitt finding a lot of good time with the ball here in the last several stages here, Jack. And, you know, in last year's playoff game, you know, Florida State got off to such an early lead and kind of put them a little bit behind the 8 ball. They were able to get some momentum and get some good offensive quality time in the first half, but then Florida State came in out of the second and put a couple more goals on to go away 3-0. The fact that it's still 0-0 here has got to be certainly welcoming thoughts and hopes for Randy Waldrum and Pitt. Still shows you still have a chance, but of course Florida State completely comfortable in this spot because they've been here many times before, and they will explode in the second half if you're not careful or ready to play.
Yeah, Pitt is looking for revenge for last year's tournament loss to the Seminoles. There's Olsen with a little flick. Out wide to Ewise. You mentioned it too, Trevor. Oh, there's a pass from Ewise right to Szczepanski. She's got a break trying to find West. And Ron Ewise able to clear. And you mentioned it though, Trevor, as we'll get our first substitution of the match. Chloe Minas will check out, and about one of the longest tenured Pitt players under Coach Randy Waldron. She'll check in.
You know, we really got some good time to spend with Randy Waldrum last year into the postseason, Jack. And one of the things he talked about and about was that she understands the game model the best of any player that he has on his roster. And the fact that she's the one coming off the bench is saying something as well. She can analyze, she can understand what's going on in the game. A very intellectual player who also has some goal capabilities. She has 4 on the season.
But with more on Randy Waldron, let's send it back down to Meredith.
Thanks, Jack. When we spoke to Coach Waldrum about how intimidating it can be to come into this #1 Florida State environment, his message to his team was, we can play with anybody and we can win. We're going to have to play hard regardless of what it says on the scoreboard, and he likes their chances here tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Meredith. That's something that Randy Waldron's really looking for with his squad. They've been all over the Seminoles in this first half, trying to break is Florida State. There's Deborah Abiodun all over that midfield. Here's Bout with space out wide. Now Mertz, Van Zanten. Good defense from the freshman.
Yeah, Van Zanten does really well right there. Mertz is a player as well who really loves the outside. In that wing spot there, outside midfield. Mertz entirely comfortable, really got to have a field day against Syracuse leading up to this match. Mertz finally getting a goal after a bit of a drought, only her second of the year, but she is as talented as they come down. She's really quick, really tracks down outside balls and has an effective shot around the net.
Yeah, such a dynamic player is Landy Mertz. 6 goals, 5 assists for her last season. As you mentioned, 2 goals and 7 assists this year for her already. This ball works back to Christina Roquet.
I mean, that's why you can really see, Jack. I mean, both of these teams could honestly be all-star teams in an entire conference if they're all spread out throughout a conference or a league, because there's no shortage of quality players, and it speaks to the depth that both rosters possess. I mean, obviously, these are the starting lineups in a lot of instances, but boy, oh boy, the talent is just plentiful here on both of these rosters.
Absolutely, and you said it starts with the offense. We've been really talking about that, but it seems for either side that the one that comes up on top is actually whose defense is able to step up and manage those high-powered offenses. Here's Nesbeth. Dudley in behind, showing off the pace. And a knock from behind. That's Katie Zalesky. So Jordan Dudley, as I said, showing off the pace, making it hard for the sophomore defender.
Rewarded with the effort of beating Zalesky to the ball and draws a foul in the process, and now you're rewarded with a scoring opportunity. Hustle wins games sometimes, and at the very least it provides you opportunities that you don't know are there until you act upon it. And Dudley has been acting all year long and proving it, though, that she is not going to just sit around and wait for an opportunity. She's going to create one herself.
Certainly has. Taylor Huff will try and create an opportunity for the Noles on this set piece. Here is Huff. Keeps it on the ground. The front post, Nesbeth. Into Jody Brown. Dancing in the box on Bout. Tries to keep it in. Say it reached a goal line, out for a goal kick. And a couple subs in for the game. There's number 30, Leah Pace. You see her journey to Florida State, the former Pitt Panther. With more on Leah Pace, let's send it back down to Meredith.
Thanks, Jack. Coach Waldrum told us that losing Leah Pace to the transfer portal was a really tough loss. He called her not just a special talent, but a great person. But luckily, Brian Penske has been able to capitalize on Leah's talent and her character. He said she's all in, both on and off the field. Every practice, every training, every meeting, she fist bumps the entire staff. He called her the definition of a Florida State soccer player. When she arrived here in Tallahassee, she said, "I can't believe I'm here." And now she's an integral part of the team's success.
Oh, such a cool story, Meredith. And great for Leah. Brian Penske said she just fell in our lap here, and they're definitely fortunate to have Leah Pace.
Yeah, she's just such a special player, a very selfless player. Was an amazing super sub and has been that for the last 3 years at Pitt, and obviously this year for Florida State's come off the bench for numerous games and started a couple, but has done a brilliant job of killing games. She's super intelligent and a big asset. She's played all over the pitch.
Now another corner for Pitt. Shapansky, high lofted ball to the back post. Abiodun tries to flick it back. Cleared away. Gordon whips it back in. Shapansky. Nesbeth on her. Shapansky again to the back post, trying to find Abiodun. The Fury still in the air. Nesbeth does away.
That was a poor header by Huff. It allowed a couple other heads to be had with the ball staying in and around the 6. Luckily for Florida State, they still had the numbers around where Nesbitt could clear one. Sophia Wynn, those two working in tandem, really showing some calmness there too as Szczepanski was working her way down the flank. Wynn worked her way back into the box as Nesbitt chased and engaged. You see the calmness on display right there by the Seminoles.
Now West touch. Echegini clears to the midline.
Pitt's doing a great job right now of keeping the ball. When that ball gets cleared, they're on it, and they're continuing to press.
Now this ball into the box. Exactly what Pitt wants to do, Trevor. They just create chances. They're not afraid to shoot. They're not afraid to send it into those dangerous areas and hope that a teammate can get on the end.
No, and when they can press, they're going to bring numbers forward. They're kind of in a three-back situation right now. We started with the 4, with Caulfield really as the one who's coming back. Now you see her back along the midfield line here off your screen as we're seeing it. But this is this shift, that the different looks that Waldrom's kind of putting out there. It's a pretty solid game plan right now as Florida State's hasn't exactly gotten deep and threatened as of late here against Breach.
And another substitution. Taylor Huff checking out. It'll be Lily Farkas, transfer from Michigan. 19 minutes in her last game versus Notre Dame. And a foul called on Abby Oden. But it's been relentless so far, Trevor. Pitt, they just have not let Florida State be comfortable and build up from the back.
No, you got workhorses like Abby Oden right there, who's really been sound defensively, really active in the midfield, and they've kind of controlled it in a lot of senses, at least as of late.
This ball straight into the box, cleared away. Sophia Wynn. Win again. Didn't get the start tonight, Sophia Wynn, but an important piece on that Seminole back line. Abby Oden. Seen the ball in the air a lot tonight, Trevor.
Yeah, that's something that Florida State's totally fine with. You know, Pitt would like it more on the ground, but, you know, it's not going in the net. So, you know, I think that's a win for the Panthers, trying to at least keep it away from their end. But, you know, I mean, obviously both of these teams have such talent around them. They're comfortable playing in a lot of different styles. Eventually, you got to get that ball on the ground and drive it home for a goal, potentially.
Now Win.
Only time for a goal-scoring opportunity with the head is if you're inside the box, especially off a set piece. That'd be the best time.
Gilchrist taking her time. Gilchrist up to pace. Here is the former Panther, Abby Oden. She's been all night, all over.
So is Lauren Flynn, though. I mean, Lauren Flynn's been great at the chances that Pitt's gotten in deep, close to goal. She's been the one in front of Roque defending.
Here's the captain, Amanda West, on that right foot. Deep for her. West leads this conference in shots. The senior, injured last season versus Cincinnati, has come back this year. A pivotal player for Randy Waldron and this entire squad.
Really a legacy player. A player that Coach Waldron told us that they're going to be indebted to for years and years to come. She's been there since the transition from Waldron to basically to the beginning, and saw this undertaking and building this program brick by brick. West has been one of those few players that's left from that starting spot where Coach Waldron told us, you know, it was not a good time. We only scored like maybe single-digit goals for an entire season that first year. And West has come in and, you know, embraced the challenge. Has really been the go-to player for Coach Waldron during his tenure.
Yeah, she took a chance. It certainly paid off, not just for her, but Coach Waldron. 47 career goals for number 9 in blue.
And I think we'd be remiss to say Leah Pace is one of those players too. As you know, she's now in a Seminole jersey, but you know, she's one of those legacy players as well. You know, she's a graduate now, senior, and you know, he told us, you know, we mentioned obviously how selfless she is, and how she's she's a true Seminole now in the eyes of Brian Penske. But, Coach Waldron said, there are times when Leah Pace would say, Coach, just bring me off the bench. Start Samaya Fury instead of me. I'll take a back seat, and I can, really study the opponent while I'm on the bench, and that way I can come out fresh and provide you some quality minutes and maybe be a difference maker. That's the selfless attitude that he told us. I've never seen that from another player.
A shot from Abby Oden out for a goal kick, but he's never seen that in another player. That's the best thing when talking with Coach Penske and Waldron, just the praise they have for Leah Pace, just a phenomenal player. Not she is off on the field, but off of it as well.
And I'm just curious to see how if she's gonna be the difference maker here in this game. Someone's got to break the ice. Still 0-0 as we're winding down here in the first half.
Well, hey, this is a top 25 battle. We're happy you're joining us, but that's one thing Brian Penske said. Nobody wants to win this game more than Leah Pace.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about her competitiveness, her analytical capability, her versatility, but she is competitive. And she goes out there and does. You really commented on us earlier in the season about how she has just done an excellent job of killing off games, too, when they've had the lead. But boy, she led this team. She led Pitt's team in goals last year as well as a sub. So she knows how to get the ball into the net, too.
Yeah, 8 goals for Pace last season. Ball getting knocked around still. Here is Pace. Takes a hit from Olivia Lee. No foul. It's been a physical game. Referee letting play on. Fans don't like it.
I don't think Leah Pace is going to be too obliged on, her former team doing that to her. Of course, Olivia Lee, I don't think has a relationship with Leah Pace, given the fact that Olivia Lee is a freshman this year, in all fairness. Amanda West is amongst that collision as well.
So time winding down, still a stalemate in this first half.
And not entirely too surprising, Jack. I know we've raved about the offenses, and rightfully so, but it's almost like looking into a mirror in a lot of instances. Both these teams know how to attack. They can be fast with it. They can slow it down. They can establish a physical presence, too, and work in space.
Look at Ferry there. Good little move. They've been crafty. That Pitt front three. Now Szczepanski over on the right side. Whips it in. Back post trying to find West. So again, Trevor, that's the third or fourth time we've seen from Szczepanski. 35 yards out, just throwing it in the box, trying to make something happen.
Yeah, even how deep she was, she still put it in an area where only West or anybody in a blue jersey could probably get it. Okay, probably could have come off her line, but thought better of it, knowing she's got the end line as her friend behind her.
Yeah, speaking about Roque, though, Trevor, last game versus Notre Dame, 4 saves was her season high in just the first half alone. It was a great game for her.
Yeah, Notre Dame really did a pretty good job in the first half. They even equalized. They found a moment about midway through that first half where they were able to find moments. And then Roque, even after the goal was scored by Christina Lynch, still Notre Dame was able to press and get scoring opportunities. She was able to take command and really reset the game and the structure of how they were going to reset the run of play. And Coach Penske told us that was the most in command she's had in terms of running the show and operating it.
With how this game is going tonight, she's going to need that same thing. In the back line, Gilchrist throws it up. Ashton Gordon getting up. Szczepanski trying to find West again. Fury calls for the handball. They'll say Gilchrist, the hand extended. Ashton Gordon will look to send this into the box for a chance as we are on our last minute of this first half. Here is Gordon in the box. Roque, and it's in! A wonderful ball from Ashton Gordon into the box, finds Katie Zalesky. And as the time ticks down, Pitt on top 1-0.
What a big moment for the Panthers. Find your 5'8" defender, go up and get it. And what a shocking turn of events here for the home crowd. Really comes down to Zalesky and Flynn, and Zalesky just gets there right in front of Flynn. Flynn had the good look at it. She had her position, but Zalesky just slips underneath before Flynn could get any forward bite on it. What a magnificent goal. Great job by Zalesky getting to the ball in time for that first touch and over the head and hand of Christina Roque, and the Panthers have the lead on the road.
Talk about a momentum swing. Pitt was not able to score a goal last season in 2 matchups versus Florida State. Now they have won an important goal in this final minute.
I mean, that's so huge, you know, going into halftime, too, if you could just hold on to this last 20 seconds.
That ball slips past Olivia Lee. So 15 seconds, Seminoles will try and rush it. Here's the pay. That one lipped into the box. Leah Pace with the header. And Ellie Breach up to claim, and just like that, Trevor, the Pitt Panthers with a huge goal to end this half.
And a deficit for...
No doubt about that, Trevor. We are certainly in for an action-packed second half. Both of these teams a lot to play for. We are underway. Szczepanski will boot it down to the Florida State back line. Van Zandt might have taken a deflection off of Mertz, they'll say so. That ball out of bounds for a throw. Van Zanten will take it. Achigini, good little move. Right there. Chloe Minas. Now here's Flynn. Good first half for her.
Yeah, if you had to pinpoint one Florida State defender who really stood out, it was definitely Lauren Flynn. Saved definitely a couple of balls that could have been scored upon, with Roque being the only last line of defense, obviously, as the keeper. She definitely got in the way of a couple of pitch shots in the box.
Now here's Olsen. Out wide, Van Zanten. Unable to corral is Beata Olsen. Pitt the other way.
I think there have been a lot of miscommunications tonight for Florida State. They have not been as crisp in their passing and connecting on what they want to do, whether it's, you know, sprinting and getting on runs, they can get a drag race, or even close by. They haven't really built up combination play really as crisply as they have this season. I think if there's one thing you really would love to see is you'd love to give Jody Brown involved a chance to just, you know, turn on the jets and give her a run at the ball. No one can really match her speed when she's on. Here she is now, and she just knows how to create electricity with the ball at her feet.
Now Taylor Huff. And a challenge into Huff. That's in about.
And a big reward for the Seminoles. Get about 30 yards out for a free kick as you see Huff a bit strong, and about just meets her right there for an aggressive chest bump where both players hit the deck.
But here it is, though, Trevor. Florida State, a great chance for them to equalize. It's Taylor Huff and EY standing over the ball.
Huff's got a really strong boot. But it's EY.
It's EY. Chipped into the box. Echegini with the header. Calling for a corner. No touch from Pitt. So a goal kick, but early chance created for Florida State.
That looked like it pinballed off a couple of heads. I think Echegini was the first to get it. Actually, it looked like it was Ashton Gordon first, and then obviously off of the dome of Onyechigini, and that obviously goes to the end line in that direction, and that's going to be a goal kick.
Here is Dudley. Abiodun just making it uncomfortable for any Florida State attacker.
Critical play by Gilchrist right there. That's really bang, bang. If she's even a half second late on that ball, Fury's got an open lane and an open patch of grass right to Christina Roque.
Now Flynn. Looking for that long ball. Opts for it. And off the chest of Dudley, the Seminole fans can't believe it. They saw Katie Zalesky fall down. Referee says otherwise. Here's a replay.
I was a little bit curious about this because I think the head official is saying that Dudley pulled Zalesky a little bit. It was a graze at best.
So now Pitt with possession. Over the top to Mertz in the corner. Whips that inside. Gilchrist clears away. It looks as if on that play, Heather Gilchrist a little banged up.
Looks like she'll be able to continue a little shaken up. It's a physical match. It's getting more physical as the game goes on here, Jack. And everybody's going to have to give all they can. Pitt knows that I don't think they can sit exactly comfortable with a 1-0 lead against the #1 team in the country and a team that knows how to get it done in the second half and win even trailing. And you know Florida State never likes it when they trail, let alone on their home pitch.
You said it. It's a physical match. The stakes are high. Seminoles will reset.
Yeah, you've touched on it already. First place on the line here in the ACC conference record. I mean, that's going to be one heck of a plane ride home should Pitt come away victorious.
Now Huff working on Lee in the corner. Ball bouncing around in this midfield. And another foul call. Physicality increasing. Dudley goes down. She's been battling. That's Chloe Minas.
Yeah, that one wasn't a question about it. Minas certainly had some contact there on Dudley. Probably hooked the arms. The call against Dudley a few minutes ago was certainly fairly questionable. This is a dangerous spot once again, and Ellie Breach needing to be on point, directing her teammates in front of her to be in position.
10 fouls total, 5 apiece either side. A little bit of deja vu with this kick. Not Huff, it's EY again. Ashton Gordon able to get ahead. But here's Brown. Samaya Theory all over. Cleared away by Gilchrist. Now with some space, Minas will send it up. Here's Bout. Dudley arguing. Wasn't a throw. Pitt with a set piece. Their first of this second half. It'll be Shapansky. Send it into the box as she does so well. Low driven ball. Bout tries to get a piece. cleared away by the Seminoles. 5th corner now of the match for the Panthers.
Not sure if that was what she intended to do, but what it did do was make it a bit of a rattle ball right down there, and it creates some panic and discomfort for both sides, especially on defense, just needing to clear it. Luckily for the Pitt Panthers, they get another corner out of it.
Now Shapansky again. Another low driven. Fury trying to make something happen. Knocked over the crossbar, calling for a deflection. They'll say it did. Another corner for the Panthers where they've been so dangerous tonight.
Fury tries to put a little flick on this ball, and it goes off of the shoulder of Beata Olsen, and yes, it does get deflected. Minas off of Flynn.
Another ball inside, back post, Roque out to claim. Punches away.
Yeah, overhand windmill punch. Does the nice work.
Now up top, there's a strike. Ellie Caulfield had one of those last week, Trevor, versus Q. She's dangerous from outside of the box. Fortunate
Boy, did
for the Seminoles.
Did she ever, as if you didn't need any more, offensive stars or quality shots to be coming from your top line. You still got Ellie Caulfield right back there, who just absolutely put a dime on Syracuse to kick things off in that 6-0 rout. I think Florida State, one adjustment they could make here, Jack, is maybe not playing so many players high. And I know they've been more comfortable of putting long balls out and, getting the run of play faster and going higher up the pitch. But I think they need to find somebody on the ground, because Pitt's just occupying the space in the midfield right now. And when you try and go vertical, you don't get the ball as deep as you need to for runs. Pitt has more numbers right now, and that's what's allowing them to control the midfield and get more possession time.
Yeah, they're making it difficult. That midfield is clogged, as you said, Trevor. Look here, Florida State attack pushing up, and it's all blue jerseys in that center half. Here's Huff. Dudley battling Gordon as they've done all game. Gordon gets the better of that match.
But you see, there's like 4 or 5 Seminoles on the back line with Pitt. And Pitt is actually kind of have 4 and a hovering 5th as well back there, so they're matching.
Now Jody Brown. Abiodun all over. It's relentless, Trevor. Pressure from Pitt. There's a ping from Gilchrist. Nesbeth. Abiodun again. With space, finds Fury. Barry tries to find Mertz in behind. Freshman Mimi Van Zanten.
Pitt's just done a phenomenal job defensively here, Jack, marking players and then meeting them at the point of the pass. So they're getting in the space of where the ball is going to be, and just like a split second later after a Seminole receives the pass, they're right there to disrupt, put a toe in there, and just disrupt and get a turnover for their team, and just switching it right back the other way.
As that ball reaches the half line, it seems there's just no space for Florida State. Another ball pinged up from Lauren Flynn. Right there is Caulfield. Just like that, here's Pitt pushing up the line. Another ball from Gilchrist into Dudley. With some space, here's Huff. Working on Olivia Lee, the freshman. That's a great play from Lee. Out for a goal kick.
Just staying step for step with this elite Florida State force. It's really a 4v4 situation there on that back line. I think the adjustment that Coach Waldron has made entering tonight, and obviously as we've seen here, first half, and about 13 minutes or so into the second, that 4-man back line has really paid dividends right now.
I mentioned it before, Florida State all-time, Trevor, 28-0 at home when ranked #1. So some more history tonight Pitt is trying to break.
Well, they certainly came in with a game plan. They're executing it far better than Florida State is. And, when you have these long balls, it's the percentage of the pass is so much lower than if you're able to build up and go level by level. And Florida State's right now seemingly going for broke. Like, this is the formula we want to do. It's been successful for us. We can, really outmatch anybody with our speed, athleticism, and our will to win. But look, that coach right there has won 2 national championships for a reason. And it's why Pitt has built themselves up as such a dominant program here in the last couple of years.
Now Jody Brown with some space. Tried to find Dudley out wide, unsuccessful. You saw that pop. Pitt in their own right, undefeated when scoring first this season.
Something's got to give then.
Something's got to give is right. But Trevor, I mean, we've talked about it in that first half. You felt this match starting to get more physical, but even right now, you can just feel the intensity building and building between both of these sides.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Waldron, well, first of all, they're from Pittsburgh, so that's the Steel City. You better have nerves of steel, and you're built tough up there around that kind of a culture. So Pitt's a tough team, obviously. You just have to have the right players and the right coaching staff to really pull it off and orchestrate it, and now they have that here in these last several years. It's been a slow build, but...
Now Mertz in the box. Roque punches away. Pitt still with possession. Abiodun with space. She'll fire. Blocked by Nesbeth. Out wide with Mersch. Back in the box. Just under the boot of Flynn. Here's a boot from out the box. A deflection off Florida State. Chloe Minas not afraid to fire as well. And Trevor, another corner and another chance for Pitt.
Pitt can also just sit back outside of the box when those deflections come in on those crosses. They're so comfortable firing off shots from that range, Jack. And so it rewards them with opportunities more and more with corners. You see the average there really high in the NCAA right there, nearly 9 corners a game.
Yeah. Leading the land. Here's Shapansky. Back in the middle. That one will be a goal kick, but that's just what they've done so well. They had 32 shots last week versus Cuse. They've had over 20 shots the last 4 games. This is a team that just likes to put it on target, hopefully create a chance.
Oh, they're so good at it, too. I mean, if you don't meet them, if you don't challenge them, they're going to put shots on you. And I think Florida State is just hasn't met up to that level of play tonight in engaging as much. I think they've been maybe a little bit too front-footed in trying to get that offensive opportunity. I don't think they've really matched Pitt's athleticism on their offense.
Now another break for Pitt. Inside, Abiodun tries to flick it on. Still keeps the ball. Out wide, Shapansky. Cuts inside on that right foot. Deflection off of Nesbeth. And Roque claims. We saw Pitt 13 shots in this match so far, Trevor. Florida State has only allowed more than 10 shots 3 times this year.
I think the more shocking stat here, Jack, is the fact that Florida State only has 4 shots.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. Let alone here on their home pitch right now. At this stage of the game, almost halfway through the second half, and Florida State's almost getting outshot by double digits.
Yeah, Florida State came in 13th in the country. Shots per game, just over 18. Now a chance. Echegini out wide, cuts inside. Van Zanten. Jody Brown. Abiodun peeling her case. She has been a workhorse in the midfield. And another set piece for the Seminoles.
At some point, Florida State's going to have to really work hard here and get a dangerous opportunity. This will definitely be one of them. Abiodun does have a case as we get this reset of the play. That was a really dangerous chance by Florida State. Abiodun trying to make the case there, as you saw in the replay. She touched the ball first. Problem is, when you kind of get tangled up that much with the ball with the player's feet, referee, they're not going to slow it down and watch every replay. So it's a bang-bang play and just drew too much contact in the process.
Iwa trying to find Dudley. Abiodun clears away.
So Florida State with another scramble there. Very few of them tonight for the Seminoles offensively. Ball just went a little wide of the net and then crossed over.
Another ball from Flynn. Finds Olsen. Good touch. Puts it inside. Cleared away from Gordon. So a corner for the Seminoles. It's a good chance. One of those through balls in behind from that back line finally working out.
Gotta get a way to get this crowd riled up, and now they finally have something to be excited about right now at the corner as the war chant, Tomahawk Chop, gets going.
Now Taylor Huff. In swinging ball, floats to the back post, up in the air, it's in! The Seminoles have tied it up at 1. It's Lauren Flynn.
She's been the best player on defense, and now she shows it on offense, and she has posted herself traditionally here on these corners on the far side of the pitch, and she does an excellent job running in traffic. You see her entering the 6 over the head and over the back of Ellie Caulfield. That's a good matchup for Lauren Flynn, and a perfectly placed ball by Huff. The header down, and Flynn equalizes it for the Seminoles. A big goal and a much-needed one for the #1 team in the country.
There is Lauren Flynn's first goal of the season. Couldn't have come at a better time, and now you feel the crowd getting into it. Felt the Panthers had all the momentum, and Lauren Flynn had other ideas. Lauren Flynn's 60th career start tonight. Her 3rd career goal. Senior defender coming up clutch for the Seminoles. Here's Flynn. Gilchrist trying to find a white jersey. Headed out.
You mentioned it. She's only her 3rd goal of her career. This is her 4th season with Florida State, but she has a big goal in the ACC postseason. In the semifinal against Wake Forest, she had a big goal there off a header, off of a corner. So if she does make a contribution on the attack, this is the way it's usually done, and she just slips behind, starts outside the 6 box, finds a way, sees the ball coming. She sees it. That's what we're doing here. Okay, I just need to find somebody I can get ahead of and get on top of, and boom. Right there with the header and down. Just squeaked it by Ellie Breach and Pitt.
Yeah, who top drawer soccer ranked. Number 7, Lauren Flynn, big time player, making a big time play. Couple subs for Pitt. Ashley Moon checks in on that back line. First minute of the game for her. Replacing Chloe Minas. So Randy Waldron adding some pace to that back line as this game is starting to open up more into this second half.
Yeah, now I'm really curious to see how these two teams react. Obviously, you know, you can't let up on the gas. About halfway through the second half now. Pitt's gotten to this point and played really exceptional ball.
Ashton Gordon able to get ahead. She has been great in her own regard on that back line, really limiting a lot of those over-the-top balls from the Seminole defense.
That's something that, you know, Florida State certainly wanted to do entering this match, is get balls behind the back line. They have not been able to do that with 4 Pitt Panthers back there for one, and then just matching them step for step. Florida State has not also synced up enough good passes over the top to make those opportunities happen. So Pitt needs to stick with that, not get out of their shape. I still think they're doing a superb job. You know, for corners, you just never know. Sometimes it's a mad scramble. Florida State's been very successful in corners. We know we raved about Pitt's corners. Florida State's come up in some big moments with corners this year as well.
Foul called against Nesbeth. She'll reset over to Jody Brown. She'll take space. Tries to find Van Zanten. Mertz intercepts on the run. There is Mertz. Seminoles all around. Caulfield outside. Olivia Lee finds West. Amanda West just takes some space for her. Now inside, Mellowhorse, who just checked in the game. Mertz delivers. Nesbeth gets a piece. Echegini able to do the rest.
To see where Abby Oden is right there here.
And she'll send a ball in. Nesbeth fighting Shapansky. Heads it away, Shapansky chase.
And just to get on that, Jack, the positioning of where she is, she understands that if that ball gets cleared out, there's someone there in the midfield to collect and continue the pressure. That's such intelligent soccer.
As we mentioned, and Meredith did, so much praise for Abby Oden. One of the reasons Coach Waldron picked her for that Nigerian national team squad. Faced some critics, but her performance spoke for itself all over the pitch, and we've seen it here tonight.
I mean, should you question a guy who's won 2 national championships?
No.
I think the guy knows what he's talking about.
No doubt. Now Dudley tries to find Olsen in behind, but a great defensive play. The goal scorer for Pitt, Katie Zalesky.
Yeah, great sweeping tackle indeed, as Florida State finally found some pockets of space. A good through ball here, but a little too strong by Dudley to set up Olsen. Heads up play by Zalesky. So both back line defenders here are goal scorers and showing their prowess on defense tonight in Flynn and Zalesky.
Yeah, Zalesky, a part of the ACC all-freshman team a season ago. Now Huff. Look at this ball into Jody Brown. Coming out, Ellie Breach. Almost a phenomenally weighted ball from Taylor Huff. Just a little much. Ellie Breach off her line, able to claim.
I was wondering at some point when Jody Brown was about to be unleashed, but Breach just beats Brown to the punch. Brown, if she could have taken a slightly different angle to her right, maybe she gets the foot, dribbles past the diving Breach and has an open net. But really nothing you can really say effort-wise from Jody Brown. She's been waiting for a chance like that in this match.
She has starting to be unleashed more and more as this season progresses and as both sides get into postseason play. For more on Jody Brown, let's send it back down to Meredith.
Thanks, Jack. Jody hasn't been as prevalent as she's been in past seasons. She's been off the ball, but that can be attributed to her duties with the Jamaican national team. She's been working back in after her World Cup appearance, but Coach Penske appreciates how even-keeled she is with the ball, and she just comes out here and plays her heart out every game.
Thanks, Meredith. You see it right there on that hustle play. A goal last week versus Notre Dame, her 4th of the season. And Trevor, we kind of alluded to it. She's been pushed back into more of a midfield role. We've seen her pressing up tonight, but so much praise from Brian Penske on that role. Just an incredibly responsible player, but also not just the attacking, he's praising the defense and her ability to come back.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you can play her really, anywhere. She actually just played some time in the back line this year at a moment when she was trying to work her way back just to get the legs fresh and ramped up. But yeah, 2 international trips, obviously the World Cup, had some qualifiers with the Jamaican national team up in Canada, a little midway through the season or so, right around ACC playing time at the start of that conference play. It's just been a little bit of a challenge to get Jody's legs back up under her.
Now Dudley, Abby Oden all over her. Finds Olsen. Switch the play to Van Zanten. Van Zanten slips 1, slips 2. Back to Huff, to Van Zanten. Chipped over to Echegini. Bradley Breach again off from her line. More chances coming from the Seminoles. Ellie Breach, her job in net. Head coach Randy Waldron just says she's the stabilizing force back there in net.
And she has been that here in this game, especially here in the second half in particular, as Florida State's starting to get more of a momentum here. A couple more shots now on target for Florida State and getting more quality time, so Breach has had to react a little bit. Here comes another potential run for Florida State.
Now Olsen trying to feed Dudley. She's playing on the right back, Jordan Dudley! No better time from a freshman. Gives the Seminoles a 2-1 lead.
Leave no doubt, Jordan Dudley gets a ball working away, and even with the aggressive challenge by Ashton Gordon, Jordan Dudley says, I'll have none of that. I'll have some of this. The back of the net. Unbelievable shot working to her right. Breach doesn't cover the post. And just like that, in a matter of minutes, Florida State is suddenly ahead in this game, Jack.
Oh, Jordan Dudley said, top net, the best net. A strike from the freshman who topped Jura Soccer, just named the #1 freshman in the land. Couldn't have come and scored a goal at a better time for the Seminoles.
One of those top goal scorers in the ACC, tacking on another one now at 9.
A foul against Samaya Fury. Ball will go the other way, but Trevor, now Pitt finds themselves trailing a goal. As you know, Brian Pensky said, it seemed as if the Seminoles were playing Pitt's game, and now it looks as if Florida State is playing their own game. How does Pitt get back into this and try and find a result?
Well, just to comment on Florida State playing their game first, you see the through balls. They're not going over the top. Now they're getting a little bit more run of play down on the grass, and that's something that they've been really successful at when they find some pockets and find a lane to feed Jordan Dudley or Jody Brown, get them running toward net. For Pitt, you just got to still stay structured, stay in your system, but you have to find ways to control the midfield again and get out wide. You got to feed Landy Mertz. Every time Landy Mertz has gotten a chance to go up the wing, she's been able to cross and get a chance. But just look at the athleticism here and the strong legs and drive by Jordan Dudley, not just on the shot, but to ward off Ashton Gordon, who is a senior, like a fifth-year senior here, who knows how to work a player out to deny a chance as best you can. Jordan Dudley is just simply an all-natural, all-around world player, or a type of player, and she's just been putting that on display all season long.
She certainly has, Trevor. You've seen Mimi Zanzanton checking out of the game. Leah Pace back on. Seminoles have seen it so many times this season from Jordan Dudley. I mean, you mentioned Ashton Gordon for Pitt. Has done a great job winning the physical battle with Dudley, but just, it only takes one chance. Dudley able to capitalize.
Yeah, Gordon and Dudley have the same height, but I mean, Dudley can do really a little bit of everything. You know, she can drive, she can sprint, run, turn, you know, able to put her back to the ball if she needs to. Very explosive, has great cuts, and can still be physical, and has such a calmness of working against physical play and tackles and working around that.
Yeah, there's moments you watch Jordan Dudley, it's hard to believe she is a freshman.
And the adjustment to really get her in the 9 position too is a big adjustment, but you just see a pinpoint accurate shot too, and Breach actually doesn't do a too bad job in positioning herself. Dudley just found some space over the top too. She didn't keep it low, she actually went near top corner.
Yeah, as a forward in the top net. Florida State creating some more chances. Here's Pace. Jody Brown showing off the speed. Echegini cuts to her right, takes a shot. It's good. Oni Echegini makes it 3 for the Seminoles.
Absolutely unreal momentum Florida State has generated here in this second half. Pace with the pass right to Jody Brown, working to her left into the pocket of space, finds Echegini, and Echegini just does a great job in tight spaces on 1v1. Nice little work to her right, splits the 2 defenders in that lane, and goes and carries over counter to the other side to the left. 3 unanswered goals for the Seminoles. Oni Echegini says, no, Jordan, I don't want you to have the goals lead on this team. I want that back, and I want to tie you again.
It's exactly what she does, Oni Echegini. A season ago, 2 assists versus Pitt in the round of 16. Now gets a goal, an important one at that. Cut this lead to 2.
Yeah, 9th of the season there, just to meet Jordan Dudley once again, but An amazing turn of events here, Jack, and we've obviously touched on it a number amount of times, just how good Florida State is in the second half versus the first, but the rate of which they're doing this against Pitt is something special.
Yeah, here's some pressure from Pitt. Outscoring opponents 33-3. A foul. Ashton Gordon takes down Dudley. Just a second half dominance. Second to none from the Seminoles. And for a team, that's got to be a tough case for Pitt, leading into half, feeling good. And then Florida State just gets an extra gear.
And still doing a pretty decent job in the first 15 minutes of the second half, too. I think, again, Florida State will wear you down. They'll suffocate you. They're going to test your stamina game in and game out. And then with that, you're not in position. You're not engaging as closely and as tightly and as fiercely. And Florida State's taken advantage of that, especially in their last 2 goals. First one coming off the corner. These last 2 in the run of play. Open spaces here in that latter third, in the midfield or so. Florida State's really just done a number on Pitt's back line and in their defensive midfielders.
Yeah, all 3 goals coming within 15 minutes time. Here's Taylor Huff on the back post. Ellie Breach, good job to get a hand on it. Now Abby Oden. Pitt's got to run. Fed back in. Leah Pace. Reach out to claim. She wants to move quick.
And then Jordan Dudley. You see now the relentlessness. You give Florida State an inkling of confidence, as if they need any more coming into any game, at any stage of the game. You see everybody's reacting, everybody's operating here at every level for Florida State here in these last 15 minutes or so, as you said, Jack.
Absolutely. So the mass subs coming in: Jordan Dudley, Taylor Huff, Boney Etchegini, Jody Brown, Jagoff. Some applause from the crowd: Olivia Garcia, Lily Farkas, Maria Alagoa, Caitlin Zapay. Check in for the Seminoles. Here is Farkas. Nesbeth with space. She'll fire. Right into Ellie Breach.
And even with that, it's still such a hot shot from Nesbeth that Breach didn't exactly handle that strongly. He still needed to bring that one down to the turf.
Nesbeth with an absolute screamer. Last week versus Notre Dame, she had a goal just like that versus Pitt last year in the 1-0 victory for the Noles. The only goal in that game on the half volley just outside the box. She's done that a couple times in her career.
She used to be a attacking forward, but she would go up against those holding midfielders, so she is very keen and aware of the position she now plays, knows how to get around it, and now she knows how to embrace that position, and yet still has opportunities to fire one off.
Here's Mertz putting Fury in behind. Flynn on her, tries to take a touch around. Flynn, no foul called. Good tackle from number 8.
That's an excellent display of Lauren Flynn, not just with the technical ability of staying with Fury and getting it away from her, but understanding that she has a helper right there in front of the net, because otherwise she's going to get beaten. Fury's going to maintain possession, allows your helper right there in the middle of the defense to clear it away for you.
Yeah, to their own credit, Pitt was doing a phenomenal job holding back this Florida State attack. But for Florida State, we've mentioned the attack of Pitt on their own. That's exactly what they've been able to do.
Yeah, they've been able to stop Pittsburgh here of carrying any sort of run of play here. Again, the outside is kind of where Pitt likes to operate, but they need to do so in space in the run of play, not off these throw-ins.
And another throw in for Pitt. Just under 10 minutes remain in this second half. Pitt looking for some magic. Sarah Shapansky all over. It'll be a Seminoles goal kick, but again, Trevor, Lauren Flynn.
Flynn's really done a brilliant job tonight. She's really battened down the hatches for Florida State defensively. With the exception, obviously, of the goal from Zalesky. She was the one, obviously, that got, unfortunately, on the wrong end of that with Zalesky slipping in underneath her, but she's still been in position all night long. You know, Flynn's obviously grown up so much here, Jack. You know, over the years, she's had to play behind some amazing defenders for Florida State, and she's come into her own, though, as an excellent defensive leader. She's become more vocal as of late, so she's gaining so much confidence.
This ball working around in the box. High kick from Flynn. Samaya Fury goes down hard.
This is an opportunity here for Pitt now for a penalty shot as Flynn's assessed a yellow card. So here's a chance for Pitt, Jack, to get right back into the game. Not over yet if they're able to collect here and cash in on a golden opportunity here to get it to within one.
Put a lot of pressure now. Has Pitt. It will be Samaya Fury on the spot. Christina Roque. Pitt 3 for 7 on penalties this year. Now Fury, top shelf. How about that, Samaya Fury? Big goal, great shot. Cuts that Seminole lead to 1.
Pitt just continued to go to the well and feed Samaya Fury. They've been trying to get her involved all night. Has had a lot of shots. They know how physical she is. Roque guesses right, but Fury just kisses it off the crossbar brilliantly. As you said, pinpoint accurate there, Jack, and another leading goal scorer here amongst these two teams with their 9th of the season.
Her 9th of the season. Now her 4th in the last 4 games. She has been hot. Shows it right there. A massive goal. So with the lead cut to 1, Brian Penske wants to take no chances. Oni Echegini, Jordan Dudley, Jody Brown, and Beata Olson checking back in.
Yeah, both of Pitt's goals have come when Brian Penske's had his players off the bench in the game. And so now, you know, you don't leave anything to chance with only a 1-goal advantage once again. Got to bring in the main eventers here.
What a main event we've had tonight. Mentioned the offense all throughout the open. It was funny, Trevor, with all the stars on the pitch. It was 2 defenders kicking things off. And now Fury, Echegini, and Dudley in the mix. But we are sure in for an entertaining final 8 minutes of this second half. Abby Oden working against Echegini.
Hey, what's up, fellow Nigerian international team member?
Super Falcons.
Yeah, but they're putting those Falcons memories to bed right now. It's all about FSU and Pitt.
They are battling. It's got to be a pretty cool moment for both. Here's Shapansky. Trevor, she has been all over the field, left side, right side. That's Shapansky. Now Fury.
Fury the same. Look at her going on the right wing here. Good job by EY winning that battle. Again, Pitt still keeping the pressure on, and I think Florida State, I don't think they can be content with this. You know, you want to be able to control the pace now and try and find a way to dispossess.
Mertz puts that in the box. Sophia Wynn able to clear.
Yeah, if you're Florida State, the last person I would want the ball at the feet of is Landy Mertz. What a brilliant play.
Finds Olsen. She's working. Echegini on the backside. She's sprinting. Takes a shot. Off the mark. A good chance for the Seminoles. Trevor, both of these teams battling.
Brilliant job by Jordan Dudley, slipping through, fighting off 2 Pitt Panthers, and the brilliant job by Olsen of setting up Echegini. Echegini just a little bit outstretched here. Too much big strides to make an accurate shot on the shot of winding that one up.
Yeah, they're working hard. We mention it throughout the broadcast. The top spot in the ACC up for grabs. Would be a big win for the Seminoles. Steer them clear.
With only 2 games remaining on the schedule for both of these teams, every point is so valuable, Jack.
Absolutely. Pitt picked 7th in the ACC preseason poll, sitting in 2nd. There's a ball in the box. Dudley gets ahead over the crossbar for a goal kick. Yeah, Pitt sitting in 2nd place right now. You mentioned exceeding those expectations. Obviously, a win would be spectacular, but just a result, even a draw for Pitt.
Yeah, you'll take points however you can get them. I mean, but obviously, middle of this match, you know, you're thinking, oh, we got 3 points here right within our grasp, and Florida State just went on that furious run of 3 straight goals. Finally answered off of the foul by Lauren Flynn on Fury. She delivered. But Pitt can't let up, obviously, with 5.5 left. They're not going to be satisfied. Randy Waldrum told us, we expect and we want to come in here and we want to win. We do not want to accept anything less.
We've seen their ability to create chances. Now Amanda West fires in left foot. Gilchrist with a head on it. Shapansky, where she's dangerous on the left.
Gilchrist in great position. Again, Pitt's been right here. Great header by Echegini as it's cleared back the other way. I know Pitt hasn't scored off of the crosses yet tonight, but they have had so much time and so many looks off of those crosses, whether it's West or Mertz on the outside, or even Shapansky.
Now West, 2 Seminole defenders on her, trying to find Mertz. Nesbeth with space. Takes her time, clears it away.
No matter the result of this tonight, Jack, we have certainly been witnesses to a playoff caliber match, just like these two were in the 3rd round meeting last year. 3-0 victory for Florida State, but you can rest assured Pitt is certainly playoff caliber and capable of a very deep playoff run as you see the aggressive play continue.
Dudley has taken a beating all night. Such a physical player, a freshman. We'll take a moment. Another look at this foul.
She and Katie Zalesky, I mean, this is a clear push-off. And it's fairly dangerous. And gets carded for her efforts.
The 2nd yellow card of the game. Funny enough to both goal scorers.
Both are working hard. They obviously needed to be so efficient and defensively sound on the back line.
So a reset. A substitution for Pitt. Kira Mellenhorst checking in for Chloe Minas. Now Nesbeth trying to fire it down the line and find Echegini. Great play.
Just stalling for time here, Jack. Battling, keeping the ball in play, just trying to play time management, milk the clock.
And that shows you how important the result still is here for the Seminoles.
Echegini furious. Thought it was going the other way and threw the ball near the stands. Unbelievable show of emotion here from Echegini. They know how much this game means.
You said it, Trevor. It's got the playoff feel to it. Both teams playing hard. Now Gilchrist boots it back up the field, right to Olsen. She'll take her time. Nigerians battling. Multiple players hitting the deck. Here's Shapansky trying to spray it out wide. With West, she's got some space. Working on Wynn. West out. Now Mertz. On her right, tries to spray it in the box. Just off the side of the boot. And a goal kick for the Seminoles.
That's probably the first time tonight that Mertz has kind of been off her mark in a cross or an attempted goal, because she has been absolutely sharp, crossing the ball over far deep onto off the flank and setting up somebody. If it doesn't even get through, even if it gets deflected and sent the other way cleared, someone's there to collect after her and to keep the pressure on. But now Pitt's really just got to get direct at this point, because with 2:16 and ticking, you just got to find a way to get to the net fast.
And they are certainly capable of doing so. Abby Oden, as she's been all night in the air, foul called. See Pitt looking for a quick restart. Seminoles on the other hand, happy to take their time.
Pitt's starting to chalk up quite a bit of fouls. Fairly even at the start of the second half. That's what happens when Florida State brings that pressure offensively, even defensively, but especially when they're on the ball. They force you to get desperate.
Dudley out to Brown. She'll opt for the corner. Shielding away. Abby Oden.
And it goes off Florida State again. You see the support there, too, with Echegini coming over. Dudley as well, trying to ward off those gnawing Pitt Panthers.
Put it up the field. No rush for Florida State. Final minute of this second half. Fans starting to cheer. Seminoles looking to hold on.
What a battle this is. Going to come down to these last few seconds. Florida State is going to try and stall as best they can as Pitt is trying to work the ball up the pitch to set up some sort of opportunity.
Here's a fight. Dudley hits the ground again, but that ball booted up. 25 seconds now. Picked up the pitch. Huff able to get a touch. Now Olsen. 15 seconds. All over. He'll call the other way. But counting down. That'll do it. Florida State Seminoles able to work their way back from a 1-0 deficit at halftime and come up on